All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm here in New York City, so good afternoon for the people that are in the East Side. And I know it's still morning where Cynthia and Terry are. So good morning to the people on the West Coast side as well, or Mid Coast, right, Central. But it's great to see you guys here today. Today, we're going to be hosting a seminar called Health 101. We are going to have Cynthia Brown, our life coach, talk about what to do when you're overwhelmed. Now, next is going to be Terry Thompson, who is a nutritional coach. We'll talk a little bit about the most updated nutritional facts that you should definitely be aware of. And then myself will go last. I am a financial service professional. I will be talking a little bit about budgeting towards the end. So to kick it off, we're going to go kick it off to Cynthia Brown. Cynthia, you may take it away.
Thank you, Jen. All right, I am going to share my screen. It's going to take me just a second to get everything set up, but I will get there. I apologize. I shared the wrong screen. Don't you love that? Here we go again. All right. Can you see my screen yet?
Not.
All right. How about now?
There you go.
Let me get it opened up so we can really see what's going on here. All right, everyone. My name is Cynthia Brown, and I am a life coach, and I am so glad you are here. And today I'm going to be talking about overwhelm. I know all of us can relate to this. I'm going to share with you a definition of it. I looked at dictionary.com, and this one seemed to fit better than most of the others. To load, heap, treat, or address with an overpowering or excessive amount of anything. Dictionary.com. This one really hit home because when I'm overwhelmed, I'm always thinking, I feel like the weight of the world is sitting on my shoulders and I don't think I can take anything else. And that has what this week has been for me. I do generally share a different presentation or a different story, but this time I think this one is appropriate. It was going to be a beautiful, peaceful week. I was going to just get to network and visit with people and share different ideas and learn about others. And well, the train went off the rails. I get contacted by a family member who tells me that we have another family member who has gotten herself into some trouble. And it's pretty serious trouble. And it had concerned a very dear relative of mine. And I knew that she would be extremely worried over this situation. And we were working on protecting her from it. Well, as I shared the information, everything was going along okay. Well, then we had the bug guy decides to call and says, okay, it's time for you to get your houses sprayed. So I'm like, okay, this is all right. We got this. Well, I have people texting me and asking me about the situation that's going on, the bug guy who's supposed to be coming. And then on top of this, my brother calls me and says, hey, can you go check on my dog? I think she's hurt her back leg. And I was going to ask you earlier to check on her to make sure she was okay. Well, I get there and we get the bug guy out of the way. You know, these are things that you're dealing with, right? Okay, you're stressing. All right, I'm starting to get these thoughts and feelings. I am buried alive. I've got so much going on. I'm feeling trapped. I can't focus. I just want to escape. I'm impatient, impending doom, anxiousness. I get my brother's dog to the vet. She's paralyzed at this point. Her back legs are paralyzed. So I'm like, oh my word, I've got to tell my brother this. So as I'm handling this, I'm also trying to handle other things with my very dear relative who is concerned about the family member. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, yeah, it's just, oh, and you never ever say what's next, right? So the physical ailments that can come along with things like this is you get that racing heart, nauseousness, headaches, achy, exhausted. Have you ever considered this? You're starting to get these feelings, and really you just want to stay home in bed and cover your head. So, and I'm sure all of you can relate to these pictures, right? I could that day, or this whole week. It's been that way. My main concern, or thought my main concern for the week, was going to be I'm just going to have to prepare for this webinar and visit with people. No, that changed completely. So I had to take a minute and I had to assess my situation and say, look, you're doing this presentation at the end of the week on overwhelm. Wait, I think I'm already there. I'm in a state of overwhelm. So I needed to practice. I had to practice the things that I'm going to be sharing with you. But just becoming aware that I was in that state of overwhelm empowered me. It helped me. Now I knew I could work on this situation. I could start figuring something out. So the first thing I made myself do, I made myself stop at the vet and take several deep breaths. But when I get the news of his dog is paralyzed, oh my word. So I had to slow down my brain and start planning and taking action. Well, it wasn't over for me. This dear relative of mine gets diverticulitis when she eats certain foods. Well, she ate popcorn and beans. So she gets deathly ill. And this goes on for 24 hours. It usually lasts for 24 hours unless we can get some medication. So I have my other relative who's panicking because they've never seen this person go through this struggle before. They never knew how bad it was. And I'm getting text and what should I do and all this. And so I'm trying to check on her, check on them, check on a dog, talk to my brother. Okay, well, I had to stop. I had to make myself breathe. And I had to make myself consider the different strategies that I could take for handling these particular situations. Well, making a list was a good one, yes. Journaling, not so much this go round. But I had to schedule my priorities. This is where I had to focus. I had to focus on the things I could control at this moment. And that's what I had to do. I had to take some time out. I had to take a walk, exercising and breathing exercises and yoga. These are things that help your endorphins raise, help your brain clear, so you can figure out which strategies will work during these crisis situations. Now, for instance, if you're in a different situation and perhaps you've got some of this anxiety going on, but you can't particularly figure out, you may try the journaling, really write it all out, get it out there and figure out what's going on, because sometimes it's something deep rooted that you haven't thought about. Now, there's also people who can listen to music, meditating. And if these are things that doesn't do, close your eyes and remind yourself that you're safe. If you're safe, just close your eyes and say, I'm safe. It's going to be okay. Talk to someone. Share it with someone. Getting it out there, sometimes just hearing yourself say what's going on in your life can help make a difference. But today, if nothing else from my presentation, if you take nothing else, I want you to remember, never, ever feel ashamed for reaching out for help. Sometimes you just need to talk to a friend. Sometimes you need like a coach to help move you forward. But other times you need a professional, and that's a counselor or a therapist. And there is nothing wrong for reaching out for help, because we can't change everything that life throws at us, but we can change how we deal with it. And that was a prime example of what I had to do this week. I had to put things on the back burner. And if you were here last night, you know my presentation and technical glitches were out of this world, but it's all good. We just moved with it. Well, I shared with you today the example of overwhelm, our definitions on it, thoughts and feelings and physical ailments that come from overwhelm, and different strategies to defeat overwhelm. And I really would like to thank you all for your time. And I hope something that you've seen today you can put in your toolbox and use for in the future. Thank you. And if you want to reach out, please do so. Thank you, Jin.
So much, Cynthia. That was actually wonderful. I was just, taking notes on some of the things that you said, and I just realized, right? We're all gonna face some sort of overwhelmness in the future, or if you haven't in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to understand, like how a baby is taught how to walk, right? We as individuals, as human beings, are also going to need some expert or professional help to handle any of the things that life has thrown at you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are going through any sorts of problems where you just need somebody to talk to or need some sort of advice, definitely reach out to individuals like Cynthia, who is a life coach, who's going to help you, guide you through the problems that you're going through. So thank you so much, Cynthia. That was wonderful.
Thank you, Jin.
Anytime. All right. Up next, we have Terry. She is a nutritional coach. She's going to be talking to you about some nutritional facts that you should be knowing. So definitely, Terry, you may kick it off. Thank you.
Awesome, Jen. Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up. All right. All right. So those of you that don't know me, my name is Terry Thompson, and I am a recovering perfectionist and a nutrition junkie. And I'm here today just to talk to you about nutrition because when we're talking about Health 101, total health, Cynthia touched on your mental health, dealing with overwhelm. We got to start somewhere on the inside. We have to start with our internal health as well. Mental health is huge, but internal health, physical health starts with nutrition. So I am going to share with you a slideshow here, if I can get mine up and running without being too technologically challenged. There it is. Okay, thumbs up if you can see the right, that's not the right screen. Okay, so it's my turn to have technological issues. Share screen. It shouldn't be that difficult. This is the one I want to share. Try it again. There. Are you seeing the right screen now, Jen? Okay. Sorry about that. So I want to talk about health and nutrition. As a whole, when you look at our society, we are unhealthy. 1 in 4 people will die of heart disease. This is according to the CDC in 2015. Now, things have gotten even worse since 2015. We've been hit by this pandemic, which has made a huge impact on a lot of people's health. And this is not something that we're going to get over real quickly. So when I mention these numbers, you might want to add a little bit more to it. I think it's a little bit higher now than 1 in 4, probably closer to 1 in 3. 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men will develop cancer in their lifetime. That's according to Medical News in 2015. Cancer rates are going up, up, up. The number is more like 1 in 2 men now. 1 in 3 will have diabetes by the year 2050. 1 in 3 people will have diabetes. 1 in 5 children is obese. It doesn't take much. Look around at the schoolyard to see kids are heavier and heavier. The kids, when I went to school, all through grammar school, I only knew 1 child that was obese. Now it's not uncommon to see the whole classroom full of obese children. And I find it real interesting here what Dr. Katz from Yale University says. Our children are more harmed by poor diet than by exposure to drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. That is huge. Our diet is harming us more than these other chemicals that are being put into bodies. Okay. Also, environmental toxins are increasing. It's not just what we're eating, but it's what we're breathing. It's the water we drink. It's the air we breathe. It's the water we shower with. There's pollutions everywhere. You are constantly being bombarded by these environmental toxins, pesticides, prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, chemicals, skincare products. Your skin is your largest organ. Whatever you're putting on your skin, ladies, you're lathering and soaping up all these things that smell good. They're also loaded with chemicals. Hair care products, plastics. I'm sure you've heard about the plastics, the BPA, and all that stuff. All of this is harming us. Our food quality is also decreasing. And I find this really interesting that more than 50% of what the Americans eat is processed food. Think about what you eat on a daily basis. More than half of what you are eating is processed food. It's loaded with preservatives, flavor enhancers, emulsifiers, synthetic vitamins, growth hormones, GMO, pesticides, trans fats, artificial colors. I mean, we don't need to keep going on with that, do we? Also, when we are trying to eat good, the good real food that we are eating isn't as nutritionally dense as it used to be. Broccoli could lose 50 to 80% of key nutrients before you even purchase it. And do you know why that is? We're going to talk a little bit about that in another minute. Oxidative stress is bad for us. That's the bad news. It causes aging, it causes disease. And the best way to explain it is taking a look at this apple. If you've ever taken an apple, taken a couple bites of it, set it down, gone and done something, and then went to pick it back up to finish it, and it had turned all brown and it was kind of ugly looking, so you threw it in the trash, it was oxidation that was happening. The air hit that raw apple and it started to oxidize. Now, if you had taken that apple and put some lemon juice on it before you set it on the counter, it would have still been nice looking when you picked it back up and you would have eaten it. The lemon juice acts as an antioxidant. Well, the good news is in our body, fruits and vegetables act as an antioxidant, and they protect our cells from oxidative stress, and they protect our cells from the inside out. So what can we do to be healthier? We can exercise, number one. You should be getting 30 minutes of movement a day. That should be your ultimate goal. And exercise does not have to be going to the gym and lifting weights or getting on the treadmill and running for 30 minutes. Exercise just needs to be getting up and moving. You need to get moving. You need to get the blood flowing. You need to get your breath going a little bit more than normal. Don't have to be sweating and just huffing and puffing. You just want to be breathing a little bit heavier and getting the blood pumping a little bit more. And you want to do that for about 30 minutes a day. Now, it does not have to be done in one 30-minute block. You could break that into little segments. You could do 3 10-minute segments. 3 times a day, you take a 10-minute walk around your neighborhood. Could be 15 minutes. It could be your morning and afternoon breaks. You taking a walk. Could be 30 minutes of going outside playing with your kids. It doesn't matter what the exercise is. It just needs to be movement. You need to get up off the couch and move. Sleep is so important for you. I heard a talk this week from a doctor that talked about sleep and the importance on our overall health. And I was floored when I learned how much sleep has an effect on not just our mood, but our overall health. Your immune function needs sleep. Your digestive system needs sleep. Everything in your body needs sleep, and you need to be getting between 7 and 8 hours of sleep a day. Now, a lot of us try to short ourselves on that, and I'm guilty of that. I was guilty of that for many, many years. Many years I got by on 5 and 6 hours sleep a night. I thought that was okay, but I wasn't healthy. And now I know why. I was not getting the sleep that my body needed to regenerate. Your body regenerates at night while you're sleeping. So don't rob yourself of sleep. 7 to 8 hours a day. Manage stress. Cynthia talked a little bit about that. And managing stress, there's so many ways you can manage stress. Like she said, taking the deep breath, talking to somebody. Sometimes just talking to somebody like Cynthia can help you manage stress, just so you can get it in line where it belongs, but you need to manage your stress. Drinking water. We need to stay properly hydrated. Most of us are going through life dehydrated. When you get hungry, sometimes it's not a sign of hunger, it's a sign that you need to drink more water. If you're tired in the afternoon, if you find that around 3 o'clock, you're starting to get a little bit tired, that could be a sign that you're dehydrated. You should be drinking half your body weight in ounces of water a day. And how that would translate to you would be, if you were 150 pounds, half of 150 would be 75. So you would drink 75 ounces of water a day. So basically taking your weight, cutting it in half, converting that to ounces, that should be your goal per day. Now you want to increase that if you are sweating, if it's a really hot day, you know, you're exercising a lot, you're working out in the yard or something like that, you're going to want to increase that. But on your average day, aim for half your body weight in ounces of water a day. It's not easy to do unless you are actually focusing on it. The other thing you can do is use safer products in your home, using safer products around your home. There are so many alternatives out there today of non-toxic chemicals that you could use in and around your home. Take a look at what's out there. And then what I really want to hit on today is food, eating real food. And what is real food? Real food is fruits and vegetables, real food. There's no argument with any medical professional out there that any condition that you have cannot be improved upon with fruits and vegetables. All the experts agree that most diseases are preventable with good nutrition, preventable. So most of these diseases that we're dealing with today can be prevented with fruits and vegetables. And that's why the news isn't that fruits and vegetables are just good for you. It's that they are so good for you, they could actually save your life. That was in Time magazine almost 20 years ago, 2003. Sad news is only 1 in 10 adults are consuming enough fruits and vegetables daily. And that's according to the CDC in 2015. I have not seen an improvement in that. Have you? Now we need to be getting 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And athletes need even more. So if you work out regularly, or even if you're a weekend warrior, you need to increase that 7 to 13 servings a day. And why, so many people ask? Well, we're gonna remember I mentioned something about our produce before. Produce is picked before the nutrition in it develops. Nutrition in produce develops in the very last stages of ripening. So the longer you can leave produce on the vine, the more nutrient dense it's going to be. But our produce is being transported thousands of miles. It's sitting in a warehouse. It's then being put out on the shelf for you to buy out in the produce department. Then you're bringing it home and you're putting it in your refrigerator, and it's going to sit another few days before you actually eat it. So number one, it was not nutrient dense when it was harvested. It had not reached the peak of nutrition. Now we're harvesting it, and science has shown that as soon as you harvest it, it starts to lose nutrient value. The longer it's off the vine, the less nutrient dense that produce is. So what we are eating is about 80% less nutrient dense than what our great grandparents were eating. That, and we're not eating enough of it. We're not eating enough colors of it. This is what a healthy plate should look like. Half of your plate at every meal, not just dinner time, but every meal should be fruits and vegetables. Half of what you're eating at every meal should be fruits and vegetables. The rest of your meal would be your healthy proteins, your whole grains, your healthy oils, and enough water, enough hydration to keep your blood flowing and keep all the food flowing through your body properly. 10 a day, no longer 5 a day. They say 7 to 13, your sweet spot is 10 a day. You should be aiming for 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day. Every day, not once a week, not twice a week, but every single day. You want to eat the rainbow. It's not just the servings. It's not just eating 10 bowls of lettuce or 10 apples a day. It's about getting a variety of color. You need the rainbow because all these different colors do different things in your body. You've got different colors that are going to help your heart. Other colors are going to help your eyes, your skin. There's different things, there's different colors, different benefits for each color of the rainbow. So you want to get a variety of color. So in your 10 servings a day, you want to get every color of the rainbow. Now, most of us, or at least 70% of us, are trying to do this through multivitamins. We're trying to get our nutritional gap filled through multivitamins. There is a problem with this. The problem is, as you can see with this apple, an apple has over 10,000 phytonutrients. Our body recognizes these nutrients and it knows what to do with those nutrients. A supplement or a vitamin is going to be limited to just some isolated fragmented vitamins. Gets in our body and our body goes, what is this? I'm not sure what to do with it, and how do I put it to use? The research is now showing that isolated vitamins may actually do more harm than good. So those one-a-days and those Flintstone vitamins, scientifically, they have not been proven to be beneficial, and they've been proven that they could actually do more harm than good. You need to get your nutrition through whole food sources. It's that simple. Okay, my little arrow is not working again. There we go. I do have a lot of free resources I love to share with people to help you improve your diet, to help incorporate more plants into your diet that you and your family will enjoy. We know that it's got to be easy and it's got to be tasty. When you're feeding your family, what you're putting on the dinner table, it has to have been easy to prepare. And it has to be palatable. Your family has to enjoy eating it. But we know that we also want it to be very healthy for you. So we've created a bunch of different cookbooks. We're always adding to our collection. We have digital cookbooks, absolutely free to download. I'm happy to share those with anyone who would like that. All you need to do is send me a text or an email, and I'll be happy to send you a link where you can download any of those. And when you realize summer is coming and your pandemic body has gotten out of control, it's time to take healthy back. I am happy to have a conversation with anyone about their health and their health goals. Absolutely no charge to talk to me. I love helping people get healthy. With that, Jen, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Terry. That was awesome information. And I really, want to stress the fact that, hey, as generation changes, guess what? Our food does too, right? You mentioned about how the nutrition portion of it from all our past grandfathers and things like that, grandparents, their nutrition-based, food that they were consuming is totally different from what we're consuming here nowadays. So as generations goes on and you are focusing about your nutrition, your health, right? Definitely reach out to Terry and get an updated fact on those type of changes and a little bit of your health as well. Get a resource. Having a resource is never going to hurt you. So I thank you so much, Terry, for that. That was great information. Up next is actually myself. Today, you might be thinking, hey, the point of the seminar here today is Health 101. What is a finance guy doing here? Well, it's because I believe that everything is relatable, right? We understand that overall in health, there's going to be different points of health, whether it's mental or physical, right? I believe that if your finances are not taken care of, your financial health, that will be a domino effect of getting those mental or physical health. So today, the point of my conversation is going to be about budgeting, helping you guys to kind of budget yourself as well, so that you guys could either have more of an organized planning for yourself, where you have that control to whether focus on other things in your life. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen and just give me a thumbs up whenever you guys see my screen. Perfect. I see Terry's and Cynthia's thumbs up. Thank you very much. And it's going to be very interactive. So I ask you guys, if you guys have a pen or a piece of paper in front of you, this is what you guys are going to follow as a template. And the first thing that we're going to say is that there's going to be multiple difference of budgeting. This is just one out of many things that I've illustrated here for you, so you guys are able to kind of have a simple way of budgeting. And if you guys want to review any of your budgetings or want to discuss on anything regarding finances or insurance, feel free to reach out to me. Free of charge. We'll love to be a resource to you and your family members. But let's get this starting, guys. The first thing that we're going to need to identify is your gross pay. And what is a gross pay? Gross pay is the income that you're receiving, whether it's on a bi-weekly, weekly basis, or monthly basis, right? Before taxes are incurred, right? So once you have those, it might be founded on your pay stub or wherever it is, please write down gross pay right next to it, the amount that you are receiving. Next, it's going to be determining your federal and state taxes. Now, the federal and state taxes are different by multiple things. It's the level of income that you're producing and also the location on where you are. So I highly recommend you just look up on Google or something, or any sort of website that you are currently on, federal state taxes, income of X amount, located in X, Y, and Z. For myself, it will be in New York. For you guys, it might be different, right? So being able to do that and getting understanding of your federal taxes rate and your state taxes rate, all you're going to do is follow this formula right over here. You're going to, in parentheses, put your gross pay, multiply by your federal tax rate. That should let you know exactly how much your gross pay is getting contributed to your federal taxes and your state taxes. Next, we're going to go down to your benefits. Now, this is typically for a lot of individuals that might be, employed and they're getting great benefits, such as, health insurance. Maybe you're contributing to a qualified retirement planning like a 401k or an IRA or whatsoever. It should be located in your pay stub if you are, and that's what you're going to deduct right here. The amount of money that is taken away from your gross pay to pay for those benefits from your company or your individual policies. Next one right over here, a form of taxes, is Social Security tax. And in the Social Security tax, it's the same for everybody. It's going to be 6.2%. So what you're going to do in order for you to calculate it, it's going to be gross pay once more, multiplied by the Social Security tax. That will let you know exactly how much of that gross pay is getting contributed to your Social Security tax. And lastly, Medicare tax. Gross pay multiplied by the Medicare tax. The Medicare tax is typically at 1.45%. So with that, you'll be able to now calculate what we like to call your net pay. The money that is left over after all the benefits and taxes are subtracted from your gross pay. Now we get a good understanding of exactly the money that you're able to take home with you after all those things are completed. Now, the next step about a strong budget is going to go down to your current monthly expenses, right? What are you guys spending your hard-earned money on, right? In the end of the day. And I always like to say, hey, make sure when you're writing this down, prioritize exactly what's most important to you. So for most Americans, right, or most individuals and overall, it's usually the roof over your head, your rent and your mortgage payments. That's usually number one and the most costly for a lot of individuals. And then next following, now that I have a roof over my head, any sorts of food or groceries that you need to do. You got to make sure that you guys are eating good food, Terry, right? Real food, and being able to kind of live the daily life that you're currently in. Maybe it'll next go down to your transportation or travels or any utilities or anything that you guys could think of, whether it's all the way from the most important thing as like rent and mortgage, all the way down to maybe a subscription for your Netflix or Hulu. Those type of things. You need to prioritize and list down exactly what your monthly and calculate what your monthly expenses are. Once you have get that, it's pretty simple. You're going to subtract your net pay, subtract that to your monthly expenses. And with that, you're able to now create a monthly budget for yourself. What you have done so far is when you are able to calculate your net pay, the money you're able to take home after all the benefits and taxes are taken out of, subtract that to your monthly expenses, there's going to be two situations. Either one, you might be in the negatives, which is an indicator saying that, hey, your monthly expenses are a lot more than what you're bringing home each month, all right? So you understand that, hey, I need to go back to my monthly budget, monthly statements, right? The monthly utilities that you're paying, expenses, and take out and look in the bottom portion of it, the least priority of it. Maybe that's just a subscription on your Netflix. Take that out, Hulu, whatever it is, or any sorts of things that you can monitor as well. Maybe for food, instead of buying a steak for yourself every other week or something like that, maybe tone that down and buy yourself something else, something a little bit more affordable. This is how you're able to kind of look into your budget and get an understanding, hey, am I spending a lot more than what I'm supposed to, right? Or making things like that? That's a good indicator. The next phase is that you might most likely have still a surplus left, right? A discretionary income is what I like to say. Now, this is the portion where you're now able to understand exactly what you have left over, and you're still maintaining the standard of living that you're doing right now. Now the leftover budget, you're able to now either make two decisions, either to spend or save. So with that being said, once again, I want you to prioritize exactly what's most important for you. So I left a little bit of an example right over here. For an individual like myself who is I love to save. I have the mindset of save first and spend later. A lot of individuals also have the mindset of spend first and save later. I want you to look yourself in the mirror and have that conversation of which type of mindset you have when it comes down to saving, right? In your finances. That will make a tremendous step in your financial goal. With that being said, as an individual like myself who likes to save first, so later on, when I can't work, I would like to spend the money that I have saved, the good planning that I've done when I was young, right? I'm going to put most of my discretionary income and prioritize into a budget. So in this way, out of a percentage, out of the discretionary income, the money that I have left over, I'm going to now, when a percentage wise, list what's the most priority for my, saving purposes, right? For a lot of individuals, it's usually for retirement because they want to get to the point where they have enough money to retire, not work again, and live the life that you're supposed to, right? So I'm going to put most of my percentage into those type of funds, retirement, because I believe that's what's most important for me. Next might be, hey, I want to be a homeowner. Rent right now is ridiculous. That's the same price as a mortgage, right? The only thing is that when you're purchasing a big house, home, or anything like that, it's a big upfront charge, right? It's a down payment usually. So with that, I want to start saving for it and let time do its thing and let it properly invest in somewhere and let it accumulate, while later on, maybe in 10, 15 years, I'll have enough to maybe put a down payment for my retirement home, right? So 25% of my income, of my discretionary income, will go to it. Maybe some of you guys are parents and have children. For example, if I had a children that was maybe 1 or 2 years old, that gets me to help to understand, hey, when that child becomes of 18, they're going to go into two different types of decisions, whether they're going to get further education through colleges, or they might go, nowadays in this generations, these kids are becoming like TikTok stars or video game experts, and they're making millions of dollars without even going to college, right? So they might be going to that. Putting that 20% of my discretionary income for any future expense for my child, I like to put 20% of my discretionary income. Vacation, 15% of it. Who wants to not go on vacation? You guys want to live, some of your life. I know Terry is going to go on a vacation now because she's such a hard worker. And she definitely deserves us. We all as individuals need to take some sort of time off, focus on yourself. That's where, having Cynthia might be some sort of help for you and understand your mental health. You need some time for yourself. It's going to be maybe putting 15% away for it to, hire somebody or talk to somebody like Cynthia to get a good understanding, right, of your home mindset and your body and things like that. And lastly, I like to put away at least something for emergencies. Typically, what I see for a lot of individuals, they talk about emergency funds when they're in an emergency, right? So understanding that, you want to prepare for it. So that's why emergency was like a very small portion of my discretionary income for the purpose of emergency planning for later down in the future. This is money, you understand that, you might not even get into an emergency sometimes in the future, right? Then you could utilize this for maybe your retirement purposes later on when you don't need it, when you realize you don't need it, and things like that. But what it did for you is create a safety net in case if anything goes wrong, you have this bucket of money that you could reach your hand into and utilize to supplement any of your problems. And that's how you're able to really understand your budget, understand and create and start saving for the things that you guys want in life. And I hope I was able to kind of explain that right to you guys. Very simple. And if you guys want to review any of your budgeting, planning, or any sorts of financial insurance type of ideas, or you want to just be a resource, and feel free to reach out to me. I'll provide the numbers for all of us later on in the next slide. But before that, this is now the time for us to answer any questions that you might have as an audience. So feel free to unmute and ask your questions right away. I thank you guys.
Hey, Jen, that was awesome. And you said something that just really hit home with me when you said something about a safety net. That is so important. I think that's something that a lot of the younger generation is really missing out on, and something that I even overlooked for a time when I wish I would have had a better safety net. You know, back when the housing market crashed in the 2008, I wish I would have had a better safety net then. And I think what you're teaching is very valuable. Everything starts with that budget. We got to get that budget first. And I know that when I was going through my most difficult financial time, it was also the time in my life when I was the most unhealthy and the most stressed.
Yes.
It all goes hand in hand. When the finances are out of control, it starts to cause stress, and it starts to play with your overall health. And it's when the weight gain happens and it's unexplained. It's when you start to hurt, you're getting sick all the time, and these things start happening. It all goes hand in hand, and it just anyways.
It does, Terry. It really does. You know, financial health it impacts every part of us, as well as the nutritional health. If we let our nutrition go, it starts overflowing into the other areas, our state of mind, as well as our financial, because we make really bad decisions when we're not healthy.
Absolutely. It all goes hand in hand. It really does. I love that. You know, what we have is very cohesive because it does go hand in hand. We've got to get our nutrition straight. We've got to get our heads straight, and we've got to get our finances straight. And when we have all of that lined up, life is really sweet. It's really good.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's the purpose of our seminar here today, right? We understand we're really focusing on health, right? The title is Health 101 for a reason. It's things that you overlook are going to be a triggering, very important factor for you to live a great life, and a healthy one at that as well. So like Cynthia and Terry mentioned, it's a domino effect, right? It's going to be, if one is down, the other is going to follow type of situation. So we really hope that we were able to provide some sort of, educational or be a resource to you guys. And if you guys learn anything new or wanted to just has us as a resource, feel free to reach out to us. We don't bite, we promise. We don't bite. We're gonna be here for you guys at any time. I know, speaking with Cynthia and Terry, they're wonderful, human beings. They really have that passion to help and take care of you guys. So feel free to utilize them as free resources. I know that they will love to, provide any sorts of information and put you from where you guys are to a better situation. And that's the purpose of our goal here today.
That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Appreciate everyone for being here.
Yes.
I hope that if I left you with anything today, it's just the incentive to eat one more piece of produce today.
And if I can leave you with anything, it's don't be afraid to talk to someone when things are getting a little tough.
Absolutely.
And we are all here to, talk to you. We don't mind, free consultations. Talk to us. We'll give you what resources we can, and we'll go from there.
Yes. Well, that concludes our seminar here today. Thank you so much for joining.